All right, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from the Tree House Brewing Company, and they're headquartered in Charlton, Massachusetts, and this is their Doubleganger. So they're calling this one an American Double IPA that comes in at 8.2% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed in time of review. This can is approximately 3.5 weeks old. I'm going to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a couple good friends of mine and fellow beer tubers, Dan and Mike, over at FLX Beer Reviews for hooking me up with this one. So big thanks to them for this beer. In the description box, I will post a link to their channel along with the beer haul video I did that contains all the goodies they hooked me up with. And I believe it was Dan who gave me a can of this. He actually ordered like a huge mixed case, and he had 2 of these, and I was like, we're going to talk about it momentarily, but Doppelganger is one of my favorite beers from Tree House. I've always wanted to try this one. He's like, yeah, you can have the other can. So thank you very much, Dan. I truly do appreciate it, and I know that was tough for him to part with this because he doesn't get Tree House all the time, but I thank him. I thank him a lot. So yeah, anyway, go check out the channel. Great guys, FLX. I've talked about them so many times on my channel, but they are great guys. They have fantastic content, and they deserve way more subs. So definitely go over there, give them a sub, check out the content. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So anyway, they have a spiel here on the back. I will just say this. When it comes to, if you look on like Untapped and you look at like the top 5 beers that have been checked in for Tree House, Julius, Hayes, and Green are like the top 3. Then there's Alter Ego, and then there's a Doppelganger. Those are the top 5. And for me, any of those beers, you put 5 of them in front of me, I'm taking Doppelganger every single time. Alter Ego is probably number 2 on that list. And Alter Ego, I believe, is the base Julius, and they add like a dry hop of Mosaic and Amarillo. And then Doppelganger is just an imperialized version of Alter Ego. And this is an even bigger, like more boisterous version of Doppelganger, which is why I want to try this. I gave Doppelganger a 5 out of 5. Like I said, probably my favorite, one of my favorite hop forward Treehouse beers. So on the back here it says, Doubleganger was conceived as an effort to push the concept of Doppelganger to the absolute limit of flavor and intensity. Both the kettle and dry hop rates were increased while amending the base beer to be thicker and more robust. The result is a lot of tasting notes that we will try to remember to read at the end. I do a lot of Hop Butcher reviews, and sometimes I forget to read the tasting notes on the back. Do the same thing with Treehouse because they always have story time. So if I remember, we will read it at the end of the review. If not, well, whatever. They have a whole write-up on Untapped and Beer Advocate and sometimes on their website. So let me get into this one. Ooh, it's spewing out a little bit. Now I did roll it a little bit, so we'll see. We should be fine. Let's give it a proper pour here. So we'll go like that. A little bit of a more aggressive pour, but doing the side pour, Hops and Brews John over there, he said, try to do the side pour. Just, not straight in, turn it a little bit. You get a more of a smoother flow, and I've noticed that. Has it really changed what I've thought about beers? I don't know. Anyway, that on camera might look oxidized. In person doesn't look oxidized. This is like the deepest, like true orange color I've ever seen. This is like an orange almost turning into a reddish color. Like it is crazy how that looks amazing, but it doesn't look like your typical like milky kind of Treehouse beers a lot of times, or New England style double IPAs. Yeah, it's murky, it's turbid, you can't see through. It has about a 2.5 finger of this off-white, super, super compact looking head that just, yeah, it's off-white, but it's not really going anywhere. Look, that beer honestly looks beautiful, but not what I thought it was going to look like. Anyway, let's get a nose. Oh, yeah. Yes, 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 yes. Old school Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, if you watch WWE. Yes, yes, definitely. This smells awesome. There's a ton of like, and they aforementioned Dan and Mike have used it before, and I don't use it too much, but has that like candied like starburst kind of feel to it, like a orange starburst. I know they do all kinds of crazy flavored starburst, but like I would imagine this smells kind of like if they had a mango starburst, like a candied mango. Yeah, orange and mango all day. Holy shit. Touch of like a bubble gum. I get that sometimes in Treehouse beers. A lot of people get it in most of their beers, typically from the yeast. That candied orange and mango, while this beer isn't as complex as I thought it was going to be, it's making my mouth water. Candied orange, candied mango all day. There's also this nice like floral, almost slightly herbaceous tone. Man, I just want to sit here and smell it, honestly. Listen, For what this lacks in complexity, makes up for with the intensity of the flavors. And I think that's a good thing. Because I'm really just getting orange starburst, candied orange, and like candied mango. And then on top of that, a little bit of floral herbaceous tone, touch of bubblegum, and that's really it. So let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Dan. Yeah, that's crazy how candied, without being sickly sweet, how much of like a candied kind of flavor you're getting from this. And a lot of times when I say candied or sweeter, what I mean is picture yourself eating an orange starburst or smelling it. That flavor or aroma, but not with the sweetness that it brings along with it. It's one of those things where it has a flavor, but not all that sweetness. I mean, this is a little bit sweeter, but not to that level. It just has the flavor profile of it. Body and mouthfeel, spectacular. Body on this one's like higher side of medium, lower side of full, 8.2%. It's big, you know it. Mouthfeel's Tree House. You got to drink a Tree House beer to kind of experience what I'm talking about here. It's so smooth on the palate, but it has this softness and creamy sensation that it's just not many other breweries kind of hit the nail on the head when it comes to the mouthfeel. Tree House is one of them. Again, not really complex, right at the front of the palate. Candied orange. I'm going to lock in that starburst. It's a candied mango or like a really overripened sweet mango. That's kind of like close to being like, you got to trash it, but it's like, wow, it's so overripened and just sweet, but still delicious. That is pretty much the two flavors that get on the front of the palate. As it passes through, a touch of like an underlying kind of bubblegum. There's a little bit of like a malty sensation too overall to the beer. Like a doughy, kind of almost bready malt sensation. It finishes with that floral, almost herbaceous type of tonality. There's a semi-dry finish, very mild bitterness. This is not like a super bitter beer or anything. It has a decent enough of dryness and bitterness to kind of balance it out because this is not overly sweet, but it's also not overly bitter. It just has a really nice balance overall to the flavors and the sweetness and the bitterness. I can't get... So I poured the rest of it in. This has been happening, and again, I should probably just continue to pour the rest in and then talk about it while I review. Because I poured the rest of that in, and now I'm getting more of like a peach kind of note. Yeah, a little bit of like a peachy sensation. A little bit of like a sweeter, like pink grapefruit, like a candied, you sprinkled sugar on a pink grapefruit. The complexity to the flavor is kind of bumped up a little bit as I go, one more sip. Yeah, wow, okay. Still, that orange starburst along with that overripened mango, candied mango, leading the way. Sweeter pink grapefruit and a little bit of like a ripened peach, but still that floral, herbaceous kind of quality on the back of the palates there. This is fucking great. Here's the thing. A lot of times when I had Doppelganger for the first time, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. I've had so many beers since then, so many New England style IPAs and double IPAs. This is not as good as I remember Doppelganger being, but this is still fucking delicious. It's just not in that 5 out of 5 realm. It just isn't. Hides the alcohol extremely well. A little bit of warming in the chest, nothing on the palate. How high can I go rating-wise on this beer? I don't think I can go exceptionally high, only because it doesn't... Usually to get into like the 4.75 and then higher range, the beer needs to be absolutely fucking delicious, number one. Number two, it needs a complexity. And number three, it has to be like one of the best beers I've drank within the styles. Like it has to be something that's immaculate. This beer doesn't quite get there, but it's still super fucking delicious, and I'm glad that Dan was nice enough to give me this to review it. So Doubleganger from Tree House. I have no problems giving this high 4.5 out of 5. I'll go 4.6 out of 5. This is fucking spectacular. It just doesn't get to get in the low 4.75 and want some more complexity. It bumped it up a little bit at the end, but still not there. And I guess I just want a little bit more from it overall, but a 4.6 out of 5 is a fucking fantastic score. So I feel like I'm almost apologizing for giving a 4.6. Like it's amazing. It's amazing beer. So like, yeah, it's just, who fucking cares? It's ratings. Price point availability, I have no idea with this one. Typically something like this is like $20 a 4-pack at the brewery. So I'm going to say probably in the $20 4-pack range in availability. you got to go to one of their locations. They got 4 or 5 in Massachusetts and I think 1 in Connecticut. So you got to go to the brewery to pick it up. But if you're in the New England area, and more specifically Massachusetts or Connecticut, you owe it to yourself to try them out if you've never had it before. So I remember to read the back here. It says, the result to us is a bit surprising in its balance and softness. Yeah, it is one of the most fruity and tropical beers that we make. I've had way more fruit forward beers from them, so I disagree with that, but you know, my palate shit. It says the mouthfeel is viscous and coating, yes, with flavors of overripe mango, for sure. Dank citrus. I'd say more of like an herbaceous citrus, but yeah, and rich tropical fruits. Now, maybe that's where at the end, I mean, peach is a stone fruit, pink grapefruit, citrus, so I didn't get a lot of tropical fruit. It says balanced by a sharp but pleasant finish. We invite you to share it with friends and use it as a vehicle to reflect and to revel in the good fortune of life. Well, I agree with that overripened mango, the dank citrus. Again, that was more of like a candied, like orange starburst with some herbaceousness. But regardless of what they say, we all have different tastes. This is a great beer. This is fantastic. If you like Doppelganger, I'm sure you like this one. Doppelganger to me still beats this one out. But again, I had that so many years ago. I'd like to revisit Doppelganger and Alter Ego at some point. So those are 2 I definitely need to get my hands on just to kind of, refresh my memory, so to speak, of what I was tasting. But huge thanks to Dan for this beer. If anybody out there has had this beer, post in the comment section. Let me know what you think about it. Do you think this is better than Doppelganger? Do you think this is better than Alter Ego? Where do you place this along with Doppelganger and Alter Ego? In order for me, it would go Doppelganger, Alter Ego, and this one. But the range is like 5 to 4.6. So there's still upper echelon, top tier as far as the Tree House beer goes. So not much more to say about it. Appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.